G'day, Steve Morgan here, out of state again. We are down in Victoria, another Tackle Fridays. I think this is the 8th version of it. Always have something coming into the office. We're going somewhere, something interesting to talk to you guys about in a bit of detail. And yeah, we're in Melbourne. We flew down to Melbourne today. I left the boat in the car here. I left my bass cat and a couple of Hobie lynxes at Mario's place. And it now looks exactly like the day I bought it. It's all been polished. Mario is an absolute neat freak. He says he's got a bit of OCD, and I would agree, because it is shiny and smooth. Where did all the stone chips go? Where did all the bits of grime and bugs go that I've been working on for years? All gone. Mario, absolute legend. Thank you for looking after my boat. The long-term car park looked after my car. It made my battery flat, so I think tomorrow morning, before we get on the Spirit tomorrow night, we're going to go get a new battery for the car. That's all right. If that's the only problem we got, I'm cool with that. But enough of the logistics, let's talk about a bit of tackle. A lot of the lures I talked about last week are now in this box here. I ditched all of the packaging. They're sitting right in here now, but there is a bait in here, or at least a set of baits that I came across during the week that I'm pretty excited about throwing in Tassie. So, of course, we share an office with Rapala. They're out the back, and I've pinched off them. We were playing around in their tank, and I'm going to show you in the cutaways here. You'll see a little bit of the footage of these things sinking in the tank. I'm sort of always been looking for a bit of a stick minnow analog or replacement, because the original stickies you can't get much anymore. Any of the other versions do work all right. But have a look at this. This is a Rapala CountDown Elite 3.5, so maybe 35 mils long, like the old 3 centimetre CountDown. I don't know if you remember the old Rapala Fat Wrap Micros, I think they were called. Got a couple of sizes of these here, but if you look in the cutaway now, you will see these things sinking. They have got that awesome, it's an even more aggressive wobble on the drop than a stick minnow does. I love those lures that wobble on the drop. That is a size that a brim will just monster. So I'm going to take those to Tassie. I don't know whether the big ones or little ones are going to work best. My theory will be that the little ones are going to work best, but the little Rapala CountDown Elite, that's what it's called. The Elite ones are the high spec, newly redesigned Rapalas. So I've got a few of these colours, a few of the purple ones there, and we're going to give them a go. Now, how am I going to fish these guys? Same as I fish the stick minnows, 2 and 3 pounds straight through fluorocarbon. I'm going to throw them at structure from a long way away, and I'm going to lay that line down on the water, throw some slack in it, and I'm just going to let that slack line, let this thing sink all the way to the bottom. Standard stick minnow theory, if you don't know about it, if there is a school of fish under that boat and this thing is sinking, so I'm fishing a moored boat and it's sinking and halfway to the bottom it gets eaten, it's because there's a whole school of fish there and one's raced up and grabbed it. If it sinks all the way to the bottom and then I give it a couple of little twitches, or I just start slow rolling it, because this will roll just like a crankbait off the bottom, then there was probably just 1 or 2 fish there and they've been looking at on the bottom, and as it sort of swims up off the bottom they're going to eat it. So what you can learn from that is, if you throw at a bit of structure and halfway to the bottom it gets eaten, always throw again to that structure after you caught the fish, or go back there in half an hour or an hour's time. There's a pretty high chance you're going to get another fish, be it yellowfin or black brim, out of that structure. So the little stick minnow analog, I call it, so the CountDown Rapala CD Elite 35. I'm taking them to Tassie. I've got a few of them there, about 3 or 4. They're going to do great. Other things I picked up during the week, you can see on the boat here, I've got a couple of the Hobie lynxes that we're taking to Tassie. Very small footprint getting those down. They'll either live on the roof of the car, but right now, because we're getting on the ferry tomorrow, they're sitting down on the deck of the boat. If you catch the Spirit of Tasmania across to Tassie, you've got to be under 2.2 metres for most of the space there. This gets them off the roof, makes the car under 2.2, boat still under 2.2. The thing I love about the lynxes is, I've had a Hobie Pro Angler, I've had a Passport. Both of those rigs need a bit of loading. As Pro Angler especially, it's nasty to load on the roof of your car. It must weigh 40 or 45 kilos. These things, I can pick them up like a surfboard and throw them in. So they're sort of like a glorified stand-up paddleboard that I can put a live well on the end of the live wells. They're sitting in the rod locker of my boat here. But I can also put a power pole on the end. They've got little nutserts in the plastic where I can strap a power pole unit to the top of it. The power pole goes through the inbuilt hole in there, and I can get a power pole in Tassie this year. This is going to be the most technological I've ever been in a kayak. Last year, or last time we went to Tassie, my power pole was this foot sitting over the edge, and if it was shallow enough to hit the bottom, I would stop. So we're going to have some power poles this year, and it's still going to be no sounders, none of that fandangled technology. but I'm going to be able to stop when I catch a fish and do my stuff, which is pretty cool. So the only tackle that I'm going to have on the boat, because there's no tackle storage in these things, is this. So this goes on the back of that Hobie Vantage seat, and I'm going to have to fit all my tackle for the day's fishing and food and drink and everything in there. So, you know, it fits a couple of these little lure boxes, no problems at all. If you've seen the amount of lures in my boat, it's going to be hard to get a selection into there. So, but I'm going to do it, and that's all I'm going to take for the day. It's going to be old school fishing, a lot of sight fishing, and that's going to be the tackle bag for the day. Got two of those. One of those is for Nicole, who's behind the camera. One of them's for me. And Nicole has this idea that she's going to tether on the back of my kayak and get a free lift everywhere we go. Not happening. You can follow me, but you're pedaling yourself. The other cool thing about these Lynxes, they got a 180-degree drive in them. So if I want to reverse, I've never had that before. My old Pro Angler and my the Passports, they were only one way. You'd run forwards into something, and then you could maybe try and turn if you wanted to go back the other way, or you had to paddle. So that's going to be a luxury for me as well, going backwards. That's about it. I haven't got much more to talk about Tackle Fridays, apart from the fact that the next couple are going to be pretty cool because we're in Tassie. We will be live streaming from St Helens and the Derwent and maybe the Huon Tassie Brim Open. Don't think I'll be streaming from the kayak. I don't know where I can put a streaming rig on this kayak here, because there's actually nowhere to put the rig. If I can work out a way to do it, I might do it, but nobody wants to see Morgo puffing and wheezing up the river, struggling to catch a kayak fish. So till next week, Tackle Fridays, boom, we're going to have some cool stuff for you next week.